We have up to four methods that we could use to sort, or four algorithms. The first one called bubble sort, the selection sort, and insertion sort, and odd event sorting. We're going to take each one in a video, and I'll do my best to gather them all in one video and set it as a tutorial for all different type of sorting. But now we're going to take the bubble sort. Let me here show you the way how it works. First of all, imagine with me that you have a list of numbers that gather, for instance, different numbers like 5, 4, and 8, or 9, 7, like this. And let's give like a duplicate number, for instance 4. The bubble sort works on catching each element, or catching the first element, and compare it with its next number. But not in this way, actually. Not catching the first number and compare with the second number. It's catching the second number and then the comparison, or it does the comparison with the first element in the list. For instance, it's going to go list, and it's going to equal, for instance, the same list, but in this case it's going to compare the 5 with the 4, and the 5 actually just stand in its place and comparing 4 to its 5. Not comparing 5 to 4, but it's comparing 4 to the previous number. And here we have the previous number is 5, so it's comparing 5 with 4. And in this case, it's going to give us another result, such as, or after comparing them and finding the second element is smaller than this, is going to give us 4, 5. This is the swap, kind of we swapping them, like this. Let me retype in a way that be more understandable. As I said here, comparing 5, or just giving like an element to an I and catching its place, then comparing with number 4, or the second element. After finding the second element is smaller than the previous element, what you're going to do, you're going to swap them places. It's going to be the second list, 4, 5, and the rest is going to be the same. Exactly like this. This is the first, let me call it 0, and here 1. The same thing with the third or the second. We're going to go here with the second one, and it's going to compare again, and remember that the previous list is already setting in this position. So up to here we're going to delete them all, and at the second list or the third list we have already compared the 4 with the 5, or the 4 with the 5. And now we're going to get the 9 and compare it with the 5. If it's smaller than the 5 or smaller than the previous number, we need to swap them, or swap their places, like shifting them. Like as you see here that we have the 9 in its position, so we're going just to put it in its position because the 5 is already smaller than the 9, and then the rest is going to be like it was. Again, the same list, and remember that we reached the number 9. Now we're going to get the 9 with the 7. It's like comparing 7 with number 9, and in this case we're going to find that the 7 is smaller than the 9. So in this case we're going to swap the 9 with the 7. So inside of here we're going to get the 9 instead of the 7, or the 7 inside of the 9, so it's going to be like this, 9. Then continue the list to be like this, and again it's going to do another list. Let me change it to 3, jump here and do this to 4, and remember we reach here up to the number 4, but we didn't compare it. Again we're going to compare 9 with the 4, so we're going to get here 9 by swapping the places between number 4 and 9. So this is the final result that we'll get at the first iteration, and it's going to go in this method like this until we're going to set them all in order way, or from the smaller to greater, or sorting them. And again, it's going to loop like this from the beginning, and comparing 5 with 4, it's already in its place. 7 with 5, it's already in their place. And again, the 4 and the 7 is going to comparing them and switch again their places. Again, it's going to catch the 7 with the 9, and the 9 is the greater number in this list, so it's going to be at the end and not going to swap these elements. So this is the swap number 5, or the iteration number 5. And here the iteration number 6. I remember we just left them like that, and we're going just to compare them by seeing this should be the same 4 and here 7. Okay, after that is going to compare 4 with 5 again like this. Then it's going to compare 5 with 4. It's going to find the 4 is smaller than the 5, so it's going to change their places like this. And the 4 with 7, then the 7 with 9, and all like this. And the last iteration, just to confirm that everything, every number in the list is its position. So 4, 5, 7. Here we have to copy this now on. 7, 4, 4, 4, 7, 9. So they are here. I think that I messed it up. Here 5 and here 5. So the last iteration is going just to check if they're everything in its place, and as you see here, everything at the right place. So this is the algorithm, and I'll show you something that's going to be more understandable. Okay, now let's just jump to sorting or to C language and write this. First of all, I'm going to open this folder here, and I'm going to call it sort. Inside of this sort, I'm going just to drag it. Bubble sort.c. Let's start writing our code. First of all, here we're going to include some libraries. Then we're going to define some variables like the length of the array and I, G, and also a temporary value that we're going to work with the swapping. And also here we need to get the length of the array from the user. So we're going to printf and do length, for instance. Then we're going to find a list or an array of items and give it a length like this. Then we need to accept from the user numbers to sort them. So we're going to go with 4 like this. After that, after getting, let me comment this like here, saying defining variables, and here getting the length, and here setting the length of the links, here getting the lists or getting the numbers. Like this. After that, now we're going to start creating our looping method. First of all, let me do a printf, like a space here between them, and here we're going to start writing our bubble loop. So remember here the steps that we're going to gather, like a loop inside of another loop. So the first loop is going to be from I equal to 0, I smaller than the length minus 1. As I said, I don't want the last number because the last number is going to take by the value g. And here we're going to increment the I. Again, in this case, we're going to do another loop, and inside of the loop we're going to do if statements. If the list of G smaller than the list or the items in I, what we're going to do here, we're going to bring a temporary value, then we put it inside of it the list of I's to swap them with the G. So up to now we've done with the bubble loop or the looping. So what we're going to do, we're going just to print this out for us. So I'll go here, I'll do like print, I'll do it in here, then I'll say for I equal to 0, I smaller than the length. I think now should run, let return 0. Like this. So I think the code is good and there ain't no mistake on it. Let's give it a shot and run it and see what happens. So the length, I say for instance here, the same list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. I'll say 5 numbers. And there is a mistake here, as I think, so let's just break it and see what we've done wrong. So let me gather up this, and in here we should type the D and the D. So print f list, should this not equal to nothing, and here should be equal to I, so like this. So let's run it again. So length, let's say 5, the number 0 we have here 5, then 4, then 9, then 7, then 4. I'll type it. The first one was 5, then 4, then 9, then 7, then 4. So if I hit enter, should give me the list order in this last order that we fetched, or the list 7. So the expected output should be the list 7. Like give it a click and see what happens. So 4, 4, 5, 7, 9. So as we write it in here, the same way, so there ain't no different with that. So this is how to sort your algorithm or to sort your list. This is the algorithm that we follow, and up to now I think everything is okay. If you have any problems with this, just comment me in comments and I'll reply if was time there. And for the others, also we're going to find them, the link of them in the description. And for the source code, you're going to find it on my website. Just check it out. All the links are right away in the description. And thanks for watching and stay tuned.